Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's after lunch. At least you'll be energized. As IT guy is preparing, my name is Iaz Conference, as MC said. I'm an urban energy specialist working with UN Habitat. We are based at Allendale, Mount Pleasant. All right, thank you. So I'm going to share about financing, and especially geared towards sustainable projects. And since we're in an era, next slide please. We're in an era of climate change, and over the past few years, and especially Zimbabwe, we've been hit by massive drought, which have really affected the population. And as you know, climate change is one of the greatest challenges of the 21st century. So also as the built environment, it's also an opportunity for us not to be left behind, to ensure that we also contribute to reducing the impacts of the climate change. So as you can see, climate change has an effect on almost all spheres of our lives. This affects our security, health and biodiversity, infrastructure, ecosystems, and even economy. So it's an area that it's cutting across, and it's not leaving anyone behind, and it's not sparing anyone. So also as architects in the room, as built environment practitioners in the room, you also have a role to play. But how do we play this role? Please, next slide please. So for us to be able to look into the future, we need to also look into sustainability. And how does climate change and sustainability come into being? With the effects of climate change, we have to think about, since the climate change that we experience right now has been caused by anthropogenic greenhouse gases, which as we are responsible. From the industrial revolution, it started with the use of coal, with the started use of fossil fuels, and now when the climate science specialists started to see, okay, predicting into the future that we're going to have effects that are going to be detrimental, and they're going to affect our lives. So it's also now for us, we have a mandate that we have to ensure that we meet our needs today, but without affecting the needs of the future generation. So we are looking into the future while we're trying to address the current challenges. So the key principles of sustainability, as we start to think about the future generations, where we're also meeting our needs, it's anchored into three principles. That is on environmental sustainability, focusing much on the climate, biodiversity, circular economy, pollution, economic sustainability, promoting long-term economic growth, and also looking into the social sustainability aspects. And these three principles of sustainability are the ones that form the basis for our SDGs, the 17 SDGs under the UN, from no poverty to all the way to the climate action. They're all bases under all these three SDGs. So as we move forward, next slide please. As we move forward as, can I say, practitioners within the built environment, I don't really to focus much on the architects, but also there are engineers in the room. Sorry, I'm an engineer by profession as well. So we have a role to play. And the role that we have to play is also to ensure that wherever we are planning and the buildings that we're trying to build at the moment, or the buildings that we're designing, are they carbon neutral, right? How do you produce your materials? Low carbon bricks or high carbon bricks? How carbon intensive bricks? That's what I've been able to see here in Zimbabwe. Majority of your bricks are coal fired, and you know coal is a fossil fuel. So, but how do we promote sustainability? And at everything that we do, there's an element of finance that has to come in. If you want to build a green building, I know from the architects in the building, they can be able to come in and say, yeah, contemporary building is a bit cheaper, green buildings are a bit expensive, comes at a cost, but at what cost? Are you looking at the immediate cost? Are you looking at the long-term cost, right? So how do we promote green buildings? Now, this is where the element of green financing comes in. This green financing these are just financial products that can be able to support something that has an environmental impact. Remember the three principles: environment, economic, and social, right? So green finance is just something that is geared to finance projects that have an environmental or have a positive aspect to the environment. And there are various ways of or instruments of green financing that do exist at the moment. We can be able to leverage on the traditional ones that have been existing. And here, please don't make me or don't mark me wrong, is to ensure that the project that you're financing has some elements of green in it, be it renewable energy, be it reducing pollution, waste management, yeah. And with the green loans, I know it's expensive. Some of this financing is not cheap; it's a bit expensive. So we can be able to leverage on the green grants or even getting concession loans so that you can be able to offer low interest rates to the end user. And also there's the green insurance, which are just policies and products to support sustainable projects, practices, and to mitigate more of climate risks. Next slide, please. And the other traditional instrument is the PPP model. It's just the collaboration between the government and the private sector for sustainable projects. These are very capital intensive and mostly works for green large infrastructural projects. And then we look into the innovative and the new ways that are coming in. There's the crowdfunding. For developers in the room, if you're developing a green project, my colleague will share about the green ratings and tools and all those. But if you say you have such a project and you need to raise finance, you can be able to leverage crowdfunding to be able to finance your project. And it's just basically having a platform whereby interested or green enthusiasts can be able to invest. And here, you'll be able to get, depending on the way you structure your investment, there are various green enthusiasts out there. There are those who don't want any return, just donor-based, we are going to contribute. There are those who not want reward-based, but not monetary rewards, yeah? There are those who, when they're investing in you, they also want an equity share into your project, and also the debt, the P2P, peer-to-peer, who contribute to earn interest and their loan is paid. And then we have the green venture capital, moving away from the traditional venture capitalists, just focusing much on the green aspects of the project and really focusing on projects that do have positive environmental income, especially early stage projects which have a very high growth rate, and that is done in exchange for equity. And then we do have the carbon markets. This is an area that is growing at the moment, and within the sustainability space, it's within the built environment, it's yet to grow, but we have seen it grow within the renewable energy space, and this is an area that, as the built environment practitioners, that you can be able to look into. And the reason why I'm saying that is you'll be able to realize that almost 40% of the emissions within the energy space come from buildings. That's a resource that you can be able to leverage on. You can be able to create trading carbon within the various market systems that do exist. There's the voluntary carbon market systems, and also there is the cap and trade system that you can be able to leverage and you trade your carbon, and you can be able to get the much needed finance. Next slide, please. But there is a challenge. How do we access this green finance? Yeah, it's a growing space. At the global level, the climate finance space is changing, but at the local level, what are the key issues that are facing that it hinders us to be able to access green finance? One is lack of standardization. And with this, there's no like universal standard what qualifies to be green. And this is a space that we have to be very wary of because of this majority of greenwashing that is happening, right? One is polluting at the back, but at the front is offering you green finance for green sustainable projects. How do you identify that this is not green money, as if I may put it? Limited awareness and expertise within the space of green finance. This is mostly by the investors, the practitioners in the room, the knowledge on green finance, how to access it, how to structure your deals, and all that. And then the other one is policy regulation, policy and regulatory gaps. This is mostly from the government policies, the interlinkage between environment and economy, and the finance departments of the finance policies. Do they speak the same language, especially when it comes to green finance? And then last but not least is the perceived risks. As I had when I started initially, that it's a new space that we're getting into, especially into sustainability projects and building sustainability into our whatever that we do. It's a gray area for majority of us, so people really are confident to work in the spaces they're used to. So there's so much uncertainty, especially when it comes to technology. There's so much uncertainties when it comes to policy and regulation, and is there market demand? Because it's a market-driven sector. So I'll stop there, and maybe if there's a question, maybe I'll answer it. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Mingi. Please do put your hands together.